Kijk, laat ik net eerst eens zeggen, ik bleef een Kerkstraat, dus je weet. Nou, achter mij is een huis, dat is een Almendroom, dat zit direct achter mij. Daar is meneer Jacobs gebleven. Meneer en Mr. Jacobs, en twee ziens gehad. En hij was zondagschool Wolf, uit Lansdowne. En daar is de vergadering daar Pasen van. Het zijn 3 of 4 mensen. Dus meneer Jacobs en Mr. Jacobs en hier waren we Paddy en nog hier waren we 4 mensen. En hulle wou toen zondagschoolwerk coördineren. Zoals hulle vergaderingen op een conferentie, dat betekent een hele paar zondagsscholen. En daar is een paar zondagsscholen, grote zondagsscholen. Dus Lansdowne, meneer en mevrouw Jacobs komt van Lansdowne, daar is Maitland Zondagschool, dat is hier waar in Bali, en daar is Mamri Zondagschool. Dat was voor die andere klinkjes ook, maar dat was grote zondagsscholen. Oh, wow. En hulle reël toe vergaderen met hulle, wou die werk bij elkaar brengen. En dit was het begin van die Moravische zondagschool in. En uit die gedachte komt daar iets. Hulle wil ook iets voor de jeugd ook doen. En toen hulle, daarin was die jeugd geboren.
I'm called Weaver. I can't remember the date when I started joining the youth, but me and my brother and my sister, we just felt that to be involved in the church and where we with the youth. And when myself and late Brother Martin, Ludolf, and Brother Albert and Brother Desmond, we had take turns to ring the bell, and then from there I was completely involved.
My name is Daphne Kaler and belong to the Lansdowne Moravian Church. I'm a church counselor here. I'm the link between the church and the youth. And I'm really proud to be actually a link with the youth. Was always my passion because I wish I was 50 years younger to join the youth. But that's me.
Good afternoon, I'm Abe Apple. I'm serving in the church house at the present time. When I was in the youth, I was chairman of the youth from 1975 to 1979. Stephanie joined slightly before then. We joined the youth after the youth had been closed because of supposedly the political position of the youth. The youth was seen to be too political, and then the activities of the youth was suspended in 1974. So in 1975, when I became confirmed, just before then, the youth was resurrected. Sister Virginia Engel, Brother Desmond Engel, Brother Martin Rudolph.
Okay, so I joined the youth, it was 1995, just after I matriculated, first year varsity. And so when I joined, it was mainly just to be a member and encouraged with Engel came and said, it was time. Because when I was at school, my parents felt, no, it was, focusing on the studies more. And then I think I was ready and mature enough when I was at varsity. And so I mainly was just a member, okay? But then at the end of 1995, it was the end of 1995, because Machusa just fell flat just the year before that. And then what happened was that the bigger church board stepped in and they felt they needed to revive the youth again and Machusa again. So they asked the congregation to send 2 representatives to go to a workshop camp at Dower College in Port Elizabeth. And so myself and Vida Metcalf, we were chosen from the Lansdowne congregation to attend. And I attended that first ever workshop camp at the end of that year, and then things just went haywire from there.
I joined Bridgetown in 1991, about 15 years old, 16 before confirmation age. And yeah, eventually there wasn't a youth in Bridgetown, and we decided to join the 3 or 4 of us that were left, join Lansdowne, because they also met on a Monday evening. So instead of having no youth at Bridgetown, we decided to join another group, and that's where we met. It was 96.
96.
And then, yes, also progressed like the Souldier as well, into district, into zone, eventually became president of Manchester.
My name is Waldo Appel. I was youth chairperson for 5 years. I think it ranged from 96, 98, around about there. I can't remember exactly when, 20 years ago. After Sunday school, you kind of start fading away. There's nothing for you to do. At least I thought so. And I think it was rbn.engel who told me, come check it out, my cousin. And I went, and obviously with encouragement of my parents. My father dropped me there every Monday. And from there I spent a couple of years, and then I think it was in 3 years I became chairperson. And then from there, it was memorable occasions. I loved every minute of it.
Hi there, my name is Lansdowne. I was Lansdowne Apple. And yeah, I am ex-Moravian youth member, and currently, how do I introduce myself? I was in Germany in the year 2000, and then after that, when I came back from Germany, 2001, I think the beginning of that year, there was no youth in Lansdowne. There was sort of no space for me, I would say. And I created it, I guess. There were youth in the congregation, there were youth in the brass band. I was active in the brass band from a young age. So there were youth in the congregation, and I thought, we need to start the youth, we need our own space, we need our own voice. Why is there no youth? And so, I don't know if the congregation remembers, but we started the play, Grace. That's how we got the youth together. I sort of spoke on the date in Augustus, I think it was of 2000 or 2001, and I said there's no youth, what are we doing, what about our future? Got some backlash from the congregation about that. But then from there I asked youth to sort of join the journey of producing this play, and I remember it was called Grace. And we had a 2-night, and we practiced the whole year, the youth, and I think that's how we became LMY, that's how we started for that time. And it was fantastic. The play was successful, and it just was the foundation for, you know, how we sort of integrated into become. Then we were elected, and then we were, I remember Heinrich and Malvin and Waldo was still in the youth as well. Petro was there. We were such a big group. My sister, Taryn. It was amazing days, amazing time.
Hi, my name is Shanice. I am the current leader of the Lansdowne Youth. I've been in my role since, I think, January 2019. I started with Auntie Aggie and Auntie Millie in 2012 as just a youth member. I was very new to Lansdowne Church as well, so I think the youth was one of my first involvements at the church.
Ik heb niet bijzondere kostbare woonbrood. Maar toen ik weer een beetje die foto's, een mystery drive, een breitvlees, dit was, daarna het was uit te zien. En dan ook wat uitgestaan van mij, ik heb uit te zien naar die kamp.
We used to do hospitals. It was also a calling. And we used to do old age homes.
Not to be part of a group that belongs to the church, and to meet other people that's on your level, you know, because I grew up in a Christian home. And if you did not belong to the youth, then, you know the world out there is very evil. And so, you know, for me it was very important to choose the right friends, because my mother must choose your friends, otherwise no friends can land you in trouble.
You know, at that time when we joined the youth, I remember Brother Martin Rolf was the chairperson, and he said, in the youth you meet your life companion, your soulmate. And that's where I met my soulmate after we were at a camp, a youth camp at the Dam, a very notorious camp though, we won't talk about that. But coming from that camp, we became an item.
But the youth really paves the way, and it develops you into the person that you would be, whether you take up a a seat in the church council, go into the choir, go into the brass band, lead the Sunday school, whatever the case may be. The youth is where we need to groom our future leaders of our church.
I would have never been to places like Tabasi, Shiloh, in the middle of Algeria, in like where we've got little congregations. I would have never known about it.
The friends, the people you meet. I was fortunate enough to be on district committees and traveled to different youth groups in South Africa and met different people. We meet so many cultures. We go live in villages, we go on youth camps in different parts of South Africa, and you meet such a variety of people, and till today, 20 years later, I'm still in contact with a lot of them.
One Monday, once a week, we were making bread and we would take into the communities. We would actually drive into the little townships in Lansdowne and give bread and whatever we could. And I remember Liesl and Eric came on board, and we were joining forces with them. And we also, I know Liesl had a project where we made these, for winter it was obviously cold, and we made these blankets that she knew how to make out of plastic and things like that, these sleeping bags. It was amazing.
The sense of having a second family, I'm not from Cape Town, so when I first moved here, my first year in Cape Town was extremely lonely. And just knowing that every single Monday I would go to church and I would be able to interact with my second family, that was something I looked forward to the most.
We need role models, a lot of them do. And I think I suppose there's many different ways you can approach them and attract them to the youth. But we should start that. I think you guys should use us, our experience, make it interesting. Some of us are really fun even though we're old.
I think that the youth needs to be more visible within the church. I think they need to take their stance a little bit more than what they're doing. Because I do think they're hiding behind the fact of we are not being supported, so now we won't show who we are.
The youth's challenge at the moment is how can we make sure that, the same history doesn't repeat itself? How can we keep that flame alive?
Die jeugd moet betrokken wees in die activiteiten van die gemeente.
Whatever we do, we praise be to God. It's through Him that we're here today, and we must give thanks to Him by doing something better. You can't stand so, and you must be committed, number one.
To get people more, not just young people, because for us it's sad at the moment, even our generation is lost within the church. And we all come back once you've had a child, because they all need to be baptized.
The congregation, it will basically die out, if our youth does not take the step in or take the place in the congregation.
But you can't stand still there. But what's the use of being in a youth and what happens after youth? You must have a goal, you must have a vision. What do you see? Where do you see the church going? So if there's no youth, there will be a church, but there won't be people. Church without people is dead.
I want to congratulate the youth. When the youth was 50, then Waldo, Apple, he was a chairperson, and then the youth was waning, but they had a 50th celebration, we had a 60th celebration, and it's great to have a 70th celebration. So on behalf of Stephanie, myself, and on behalf of our family, we want to congratulate the youth and we want to wish them well. May they grow and blossom, and may you experience the same joy that we experience.
Thank you so much.
Don't be discouraged because of lack of support, because that is what cracks most of the leaders.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy. It's not an easy task at all. I think you know that. And so just stay strong and don't be discouraged. Rather seek help from older people.
The 70th already, now really feel old. I think we celebrated the 50th when I was in youth.
I wish them everything of the best and God's blessings on their work and on the leadership, and I hope they will go from strength to strength and they will carry on doing the good work.
So congratulations to LMY, Lansdowne Moravian Youth, on your 70th celebration. It's fantastic. It's a beautiful milestone for all the many leaders that have come through this church, the bishops, the ministers, the acolytes. Congratulations.
So I'd like to say thank you for coming to youth. Thank you for being as involved as you are. And thank you for always sacrificing or taking out the time to come to youth. we really, within the space of 9 months now, I think we've grown so much just as youth alone. And I'm excited to see how far the youth can go. And I'd also like to say to everybody who we have interviewed over this, I think, past 2 months or so, thank you so much for sharing your youth experiences with us. And even though, you know, the age gap is so big between us, like, it's so amazing to see that even today, like, we still find similarities of the youth of back then and the youth of today. So thank you so much. I promise you we'll cherish it forever and ever, and we'll take it along with us, and we'll show it to our kids and our grandkids. Most of all, just thank you from the bottom of my heart.